Hey everybody, my name is Lucas, and in this video we are going to be setting up a Getting Things Done, or GTD for short, ecosystem in Evernote. Now, Evernote has been my go-to tool for a couple of years now, but they have released an update lately that is not making me very happy, so I'm actually going to be looking to move away from it and try out new tools along the way. And that is what I will also record. So if you're interested in that, hit subscribe to get notified if I release a new GTD setup video. Having said that though, let's have a look at the setup I have been using by looking at this Evernote application. So again, this is Evernote Legacy. You can recognize it by the grayed out icon in the top left here. And to start, I'm going to go over the notebooks, which is what I use for first level categorization, so to speak. You can see that there's a notebook for inbox, and it's my default notebook. So any new thoughts I have, whether it's captured on mobile, tablet, or obviously PC, they end up in here. Then you can move on into these ground level categories, as David Allen calls them in his book. So the next actions level, the projects level, focus and responsibilities, goals like 2, 3, 4 year, more long-term goals, your vision, purpose. So all these you can categorize as notebooks. And in this case, I've actually numbered them. The reason being is that you cannot move these around manually. So it takes an alphabetical order. So if you start with 0 and move down to 10, you can also start with 1 and go to 11 for that matter. It will work in an orderly fashion, which is what we all like as GTDers, I'm sure. Moving into the next action level, this is where you actually have the actions that you want to perform. And you can see here that they have several colors and tags here. Now I'm going to show you what that actually means. This is what we actually use tags for, which is kind of this deeper layer of categorization that Evernote allows you to do. It's pretty great, and it's hierarchical. That is even better because you can see that I have these several markers. You can kind of play around with this. GTD doesn't have a set rule, but context definitely is a big one. So where are you now, and what can you do within that place or within that state of mind, whatever your context is defined like. Now for this example, I just created two, the home and the office context, and by selecting one or the other, I can see only the actions that have this tag. So that is the way you can categorize, but also tag within separate categories. Now, why is that important? Because another tag here is the operational domain tag, which is basically indicating what is this about. And as you can see here, when I go to projects, I created a fake project called Buy a Boat. Now, the desired outcome of this multi-step flow is to own a boat. So phase 1 would consist of a next action called research boat options. So what I did here is actually created a next action as a note. All of these are notes, obviously. It's Evernote, which is a note-taking application, but we're kind of hacking it to make it work for us. And this next action is linked from the project file. This, however, is a manual action. So while this does work, it is error prone, and it does take a lot of work to set up time after time, although you do get the hang of it. And to me, this is like second nature. But what you actually do have to do every time is navigate to the action first. So you have to create it first. You can see it here. Then you can right click on it and press copy internal link. Then you go to the projects or from wherever else you want to link it, press the text, type the text you want to type, and then select it, right click, and then you can edit here because I already created the link, or you can press Ctrl+K to add that internal link. And then when I click it, you will see that I'm moving directly to the next action. So there is, a level of connection between actions and projects, but it is definitely very manual to set up. On the other hand, though, as you can also see, it's super quick, which is really why I've been using this kind of outdated software for so long. It's just quick to use, and that's pretty important to me. Moving on to the other tags, you can see an orange one as well, which is the time needed or time required tag. Now you can set up any intervals here that work for you. In this example, I just created two that indicate it is 20 minutes or less, or it is 30 minutes or less. That is not actually true. So Basically what this indicates is if the 30 minutes or less tag is selected, it means it's between 20 and 30 minutes, right? Because otherwise it wouldn't make sense to just have anything less than this. I could just have one tag and it's all potentially less than that amount. Either way, though, that is another way to categorize based on your energy levels or the time you have available. So all of that is possible, and you can actually connect all of this. So as you can see here, the research boat options action that we have selected is an action I can perform from home. It's related to the boat project, and it will take me between 20 and 30 minutes to complete. What you can also see is that I have these specific symbols added in front of the tags. This has a reason. It does take you, some time to learn it, because this is all my own decision, and you can select your own symbols for that matter. But once you do make a decision on which symbol stands for which category, which tag, let's say, then you can go and process new inbox items very quickly. So let's create a new inbox item here. And let's say we want to add a phase 2 action to that boat project, which is to, call vendor. That is something I would want to do from home. So in order to find every context, instead of just typing H and maybe seeing other tags related to operational domain, for example, I can just type the symbol select associated with it, and it appears right there. Boom. What is it related to? Well, that is what we use this symbol for, and there we go. Every tag that is available shows up. So as you can see, it's very easy and quick to process new inbox items and turn them into next actions if needed by using these tags in this way. I move them into the notebook for next actions, and there we go. The inbox is clear, and the next action list is completed again. And now we have two actions that I can do from home. Moving on, we go into the tickler file, which is things you want to be reminded about to make a decision on at that particular time. Now, here's where I actually also added a note. Again, these are all just notes in the end, but they can work like this because in the end, it's just information that you want to process. You add a reminder. That's what you can do at the right top here. As you can see, I add a reminder, or in this case, I can clear it because it was already there, and I can add one. And you have a quite intuitive field to just pick a certain time. And there it is. Now you can select an option in Evernote, which I believe is there by default, but you can double check to also get email notifications for any items in your tickler file. I really rely on this. It's really effective to remind me of things, which is what it's there for. Waiting for is a quite self-explanatory category as well, things you are waiting for. So in this case, this person has their own file in the system, so to speak. Let's call him Bob. And I have to wait for a report, which is work related. So it's under the operational domain tag, but it doesn't have the next action tags such as context or time needed, because it isn't. It is an item that I'm waiting for. It's not an actionable item. Therefore, it is in this category with this tag. Now, if I wanted to see everything work-related, now you can start to see why it's powerful to have that as a tag applied to more than just actions, beyond actions, and actually see what I have to do, what I'm waiting for, projects I'm running. You can start to see how this all fits together, I hope. Someday, maybe. I didn't even put anything here because it starts to become pretty self-explanatory at this point, I believe. Just put any items that you want to revisit at a later date without a predefined deadline here. Agenda, same story. This is basically the talking points category. So you can also add a note for Bob with the title, and then any talking points you have with Bob at that point. When you see him, you can open up the agendas category and open Bob's file in here, which is just a note. The reference category is kind of the odd one out here because it is a separate category here and it has its own tag as well. The reason is that this is the way I like to categorize things within the reference notebook. You could also add sub notebooks if you want to, but I think this is a bit more of a clean setup, basically. So anything reference related has the dash symbol for me, and this is just an example of how you could use it. Any discount coupon you may have collected, you can file them under the coupon tag, and you add the store it's related to as the title. Now again, you can do anything here. You can add files to Evernote as well. So if you want to save certain PDFs, maybe important data like your insurance files or whatsoever, you can all save that under reference. The last major portion of this setup is the weekly review log, which is basically a notebook where I log my process of any weekly review that I perform. I have a template for that, and I will share it in the description. And obviously you can have your own template for it, or do your weekly review in any way you want. But this is where I keep those notes. I don't tend to look at them, but it is nice to kind of push myself that way to perform it. You don't want there to be a week missing. So that is actually it in terms of the PC portion of the Evernote GTD setup. Pretty straightforward, pretty fast. Again, if you use Evernote Legacy, don't use the new version. Trust me, you won't like it. You won't enjoy it for GTD purposes. At least that's been my experience. And again, if you actually want to complete an item, that is something that you just do, in my case, in this system, by pressing delete. In the end, the system is all about telling you what you need to do now and removing clutter. So anything you've completed or trashed, if it's an inbox item you don't want to do anything with, of course, that's possible. You can trash it here and then regularly empty your trash so that the system stays lean and stays quick. So this has been Evernote Legacy for getting things done. Thanks for watching.